The worst offender may be the new Kardashian Card, named for the reality show Celebutantes. It's marketed to teenage girls.
With this one, you don't need credit, you don't even need a bank account.
But you do need a lot of money for fees.
If you don't use the money that's in there, they actually deduct it or they charge you.
The Kardashian Card was a scam Kourtney, Kim, and Khloe participated in. They wanted their fans to put their hard-earned money into a debit card program so the Kardashians could charge ridiculous fees and take money from hardworking people who were tricked into thinking that they could live the Kardashian lifestyle if they used a Kardashian card. So let's get into it. If you aren't subscribed to the Let's Get Into It podcast, then you're only getting half the tea. For longer videos, deep dives, and of course, more of me, subscribe to the Let's Get Into It podcast listed in the description below. Lately, we've been talking about the Kardashians and their bizarre business models because it seems like when one of the sisters become less relevant, they create a few different brands, a few different products to try to see which business will stick and keep them relevant. I mean, lately we've seen Kylie Jenner out here with her Sprinter vodka drink. She's got her Kai clothing line. There was Kai Swim, which completely disappeared. And honestly, I haven't heard anything about Kylie Cosmetics in a long time. She's now got her Kai fragrance. So really, Kylie is doing anything to try to grasp to relevancy and to make good money. But I want to go back and talk about one business venture that never made sense for the Kardashians. And yes, today we are talking about the Kardashian Card and how this card was a ripoff. Now, I think we can acknowledge that the Kardashians are successful in business in certain ways. I mean, Kylie was a billionaire at one point, Kim has Skims, and they are all relatively successful. But that takes trial and error. In November 2010, the Kardashian sisters had a weird announcement that they would be launching a prepaid debit card called the Kardashian Card. Now, I don't know if I want these people handling my money. Maybe they're good at their own businesses, but do I really want my life savings to be in the Kardashians' hand under a Kardashian card? They created a website called KardashianCard.com announcing their fees and launching their product. But of course, this project in particular was quickly taken off the market due to a firestorm of criticism. And there was even criticism from legitimate people who are in Congress, who work in the baking industry, people who saw this going down and felt the need to speak out. There's complaints that the Kardashian Card and similar prepaid debit cards unfairly target financially unsophisticated young adults, including those enticed by the family's lives of luxury and extravagance. Essentially, these people were under the impression that if they got the Kardashian Card, then they could live like a Kardashian. I mean, let's be real. The Kardashian prepaid MasterCard has outrageous fees that could reach up to $100 a year, plus fees for ATM withdrawals, cancellations, and talking with a phone operator. So a lot of these fees are associated with cards, but this card in particular had all of the fees and the highest rates, which is not great for someone young and probably, who doesn't have a lot of Kardashian money laying around.
The worst offender may be the new Kardashian Card, named for the reality show Celebutantes. It's marketed to teenage girls.
With this one, you don't need credit, you don't even need a bank account.
Not Kimberly out here at a club, probably doing a promo, talking about her card, that you don't need a bank account, you don't need credit, a lot of wrong things. I mean, when you go and establish a card, you should have those things already in place. And I would challenge the Kardashians, to whether they have a card like this of their own, because I doubt they ever even had a Kardashian card to begin with. Now, an attorney general spoke out against this card, and actually the Kardashians company Dash Dolls wrote a letter in response saying the Kardashians have worked extremely long and hard to create a positive public persona that appeals to everyone, particularly young adults. Unfortunately, the negative spotlight turned on the Kardashians as a result of the attorney general's comments and actions threaten everything which they have worked for. Which I'm calling total BS. I mean, if it's a bad financial move, it's a bad financial move. No one's trying to, defame the Kardashians. And that's the approach they were trying to take as a defense, which I think is super immature and actually very problematic. Plus, the card is just really expensive. And using the Kardashians as a financial role model to impressionable teenagers is already being questioned by financial experts around the country. I mean, take a look at the list of these fees here. The experts are saying no, young kids do not go go and get the Kardashian card, even if Kimberly is out in a club telling you to do so.
A 6-month card costs $59.95 just to set up, $1.50 to use the ATM, $1 for balance checks, $1.50 to speak to customer service, $9.95 to replace a lost card, and $6 to cancel the account.
If you don't use the money that's in there, they actually deduct it or they charge you.
Not only do you have to pay a bunch of fees to have this card, if you leave your money in that card, let's say you're trying to save, well, then you're going to have to pay for that as well. So you can't even save using this prepaid card. I mean, a prepaid card is kind of like a debit card. You put money into it, but if you're not spending that money, they will charge you for it. I mean, how messed up is that? Now, essentially, the card is a prepaid MasterCard debit card with the Kardashian sisters' picture on it. The card was intended to be promoted as a way for parents to monitor their children's spending while teaching them how money works, which is good in theory, but essentially the fees along with it is going to screw any kid over. I mean, if they're trying to work on how their allowance works and putting it onto this card and spending it, they're going to realize that their allowance was taken by the Kardashians in fees. The cost of the card for the first year is $99.95. So you have to pay $100 just to own the card. And then you've got one-time card purchase fees of $10 and another fee for $8 a month and a preloaded deposit fee of $5. The fees do not stop after the card is purchased. We've got ATM fees, which are typical, but they've got their own fees associated with it. There's also a 2.5% fee for instant transfers. Really, so many fees that the Kardashians, of course, are promoting this card because they're getting a big cut of these people's hard-earned money. Now, one thing that was different about the Kardashian prepaid MasterCard is it allowed the card holder to share money directly from the Kardashian card to any mobile phone, even if the recipient of the money does not have a Kardashian card. Essentially, they were trying to get ahead of the wave of like Venmo and Cash App and things like that, but they were not doing it the right way.
The Kardashian card did have a couple of benefits. One was that the money you deposited in the account was FDIC insured, and another was that the card pioneered a crude version of Venmo or other mobile wallet services. You could send money to friends just using their mobile phone number. They would then receive a text message with a link that they could click on, which would take them to a landing page where they could claim their money.
Now, they could use a bunch of different methods of trying to sell this card by saying there's no credit checks. Well, there's no credit checks because there's no credit line here. You're putting money into the card. There's no overdraft fees because if you were to try to overdraft, the card will just decline. There's no minimum balance because if you open up a card, you're paying these fees, and no matter what, they're getting their coin. So, and of course, no bounce checks. Again, because there is no money technically being held within this account as a bank. It's kind of like preloading your Venmo, your Apple Pay, your Cash App, and just having money sit there. But the Kardashians are taking fees of it. So if you imagine a Venmo, you had like, $100 in there, and then you looked 2 months later and you actually had, 80 now because Venmo took some of it, and that's not cool.
Well, the public outcry over the card was so big that the Connecticut Attorney General's office announced it was launching an investigation into whether the card broke consumer protection laws in the state. Kim, Courtney, and Chloe then sent letters to MasterCard and University National Bank, now Sunrise Bank, instructing them to remove Kardashian branding from the cards.
Now, honestly, the government, the general attorney stepping in and threatening to investigate and to sue probably saved the Kardashians in the long run. University National Bank said 250 consumers bought the MasterCard branded the Kardashian card. And because they did buy into it, they were able to use it for, another month, but the card was going to go away. Even though the card has been discontinued, a company has bought out the official website for educational purposes, just to keep the public aware of celebrity card scams such as this one. It's actually so funny to me that they have kept this website around. I mean, it's like a story of how this card went down and how people got scammed. The card fees, like pretty much the research for this video came from this website, which was originally created to promote the card. So honestly, what a great job. Like, I love how we turned the situation into a lesson that can be learned. Now in 2023, a woman came forward and shared that she had learned her lesson because she wrote a blog titled "The Kardashian Card Ruined My Life." She said, "My name is Nancy and I am from California. I have been silenced by the threat of legal action if I dared to reveal the underlying facts of the Kardashian prepaid debit card program. However, I have nothing to lose and I want the citizens of the nation to understand what actually occurred." She said that, "I learned that Kim Kardashian was going to make an appearance experience at The Edge, a new nightclub that was opening in California in 2009, I prepared a prepaid debit card proposal explaining the rich features of the card program and paid the $100 entry fee. And I was walked directly up to Kim. I explained that I had a business proposal for her and discussed the concept with her briefly. After several weeks, I was invited to Kris Jenner's Calabasas home office to discuss the prepaid debit card program. I was accompanied by an associate and my attorney. Nancy claims that she encountered significant challenges with fees and management decisions throughout her involvement with the Kardashian Card prepaid debit card program. Whew, what a mouthful. Initially excited about the innovative technology and its potential to assist struggling consumers in the 2008 financial crisis, Nancy and her husband embarked on creating this program, and she thought that maybe the Kardashians would be the perfect people to sell it. However, the launch of this Kardashian Card went sour due to the behavior of the Kardashian sisters, which garnered negative media attention. Nancy recounts how the sisters' early departure from their event, launching the event, and lack of engagement with attendees and their dismissive attitude toward the program's significance all contributed to a sense of disappointment and embarrassment. Despite her ownership and investment in the Kardashian prepaid debit card program, Nancy found herself sidelined and silenced by a gag order imposed by the University National Bank and MasterCard. This restriction prevented her from communicating directly with the Kardashians and any other involved parties, leaving her frustrated and powerless in her attempts to fix the situation and uphold the integrity of this program. So Nancy had other ideas for this program, and she's saying that she's the original, founder, I guess, of this idea, and she presented it to the Kardashians and they ruined it for her. Now Nancy claims that she's experienced financial loss because she and her husband invested a ton of their life savings into the development and launch of this program. Also, her professional reputation has been tarnished. I mean, she was working in the financial field before the Kardashians, but after this and this gag order from MasterCard, she is definitely not welcome back. As far as legal threats and restrictions, as we have said, she has gotten a gag order, which means that these institutions do not want her talking about the deal that they had made, especially while it is a legal issue. Because keep in mind, there were tons of criticism about the card and the program was pulled, and Nancy wasn't really able to defend her stake in this business. She also claims she's had an emotional toll. Beyond the financial and professional ramifications, Nancy's account suggests that the ordeal took an emotional toll on her. The stress of navigating the challenges associated with the program, coupled with the disappointment and the embarrassment of the failed launch event, likely contributed to feelings of frustration, helplessness, and despair. Now, why was Nancy silenced? Because there were legal troubles. I mean, the Kardashians were sued, actually for $75 million. And it's all because they pulled their name from the card because it pretty much was pulling their reputation down. And at this point, they were still really becoming established as household names. Now, the reality stars allegedly agreed to say nice things about the card in the press and on social media networks in exchange for a flat fee and percentage of revenue from customers who signed up for the card. But they later soured on their arrangement when the card came under fire for high fees, terminating their deal and making disparaging comments about the card. So essentially, the company's business collapsed, so it sued, claiming $75 million in damages. The Kardashians were able to get out of the lawsuit by bringing up the anti-slap motion, a tactic used for people who are in the public eye to escape lawsuits. It also makes it so that other people involved in the lawsuit cannot speak on what was going on. Now, I do think it's good the Kardashians got out of this deal. They didn't really have a chance. They shouldn't have gotten into it in the first place, but their reputation was on the line and they're going to choose that over everything. But technically, they did breach contracts, so they were technically obligated to promote this card. The judge ended up siding with the Kardashians, saying, "We do not have a mere breach of contract action here, seeking recovery from the Kardashians of the contract damages for their breach of same." Judge continued saying, "Instead, we have an attempt to also charge the defendants, the Kardashians, with loss of all other business unrelated to them, specifically tied to the defendants' exercise of free speech." So the judge said, yeah, maybe they got into this deal, but they also are allowed to say if the card sucks, if they do believe that. The judge then finds that the credit card company can't likely prove the Kardashians ruined their business. The Kardashians put out a statement saying that they have now terminated their ties to the bank because they have been successful in being recognized as honest, ethical, and fun-loving individuals who are kind and caring to others, which is such an interesting statement from their lawyer because that is the type of, persona they were trying to push back then. Either way, they were trying to exploit people who did not have much money and to make money off of them, and that really seems like the basis of all their businesses. But I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in a new one very soon. Bye, guys.